Hey, I'm Ven. I should have uploaded this on Pride Month, but I have horrible timing. It would have been great. But yeah, welcome back. Or if you've never seen me, hi. Today, what I wanted to talk about, it's you read in the title, uncertain asexuality, and lately, especially with Pride Month, I've been kind of having like I kind of came back to this topic after a couple of years and not really thinking about it, but basically it's very normal, like when you're a teen young adult, to just be surrounded by the topic of sex, and it's like this big thing. And even if you don't really feel like the pressure of doing it, it's a very present topic. You see it on billboards, you see it on songs. Every one of your friends talks about it, whether it is because of good experiences or bad experiences. Truth or Dare is one of those games that is basically just to make out, and you get all these things, and it's hard not to feel out of place when you don't really partake in any of it. And I sort of mentioned this indirectly in the previous videos, but I get overwhelmed pretty easily. So I've never been like a party guy. I've never been like the sort of dude that will go to a bar, in the middle of the night and like dance and make out with people and shit like that, because I just get overwhelmed. Like my brain gets fried. I don't know how to explain it. I just get this crazy out of body experience, and it's like horrible, and it gets super anxious when I am surrounded by like a lot of stimuli. So it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable in because I feel like there is this big part in everyone's life that sooner or later they feel, and I just didn't get that. And it's weird because I kind of want to feel that. It's a weird thing to explain, but that's basically my problem. It's like I would like to understand these people, understand what they go through, but I don't. And it's weird because there are many reasons as to why that can be the case. And that's why I put in the title uncertain asexuality, because there are many factors that can affect that, as I said in the beginning. But yeah, for example, in my case, I've mentioned before that I feel unlovable, and I have like this self-esteem thing going on. I'm conscious of it. So it's hard to know if it's like an attraction problem, or if it's just the fact that out of fear I don't really let myself feel anything for anyone, and it's weird. Um and also, like, recently, actually, I got diagnosed with anxiety and depression after years of struggling with mental health and going to a couple of therapists and going through the whole tedious process of that. I got a diagnosis, which I didn't expect, even though every one of my friends imagined. Actually, it's kind of funny because I remember I've had the idea for this channel like for a long, long time. But it was until, I kind of hit rock bottom that I was like, okay, I'm actually going to do it because I need an outlet. But I had this idea for a long time, and I kind of wrote the ideas that I wanted to talk about. And one of them was basically like, all of my friends think I'm mentally ill, which sounds like a weird song name. I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to talk about it. But now I'm not going to make it because I truly did come out with mental issues. So it's kind of weird. And by talking to both my psychiatrist and my psychologist, we figured out that it's kind of hard to tell right now. When you suffer from depression or something like that, it's very hard to tell whether it is like sort of a numbness induced by that depression. And actually, I'm going to get on the topic of emotional numbness later on. But it's hard to know whether it's that or actual like a sexuality thing. Because I've had this for a long time, right? Like years, like since I was like around starting puberty is when I started feeling like I feel right now. And I'm like 19, almost 20 right now. So so I've had this for a long time. So again, it's kind of sad for me because I feel if I end up being asexual, it will take me some time to kind of take it in, because it will be a kind of a hit to my self-esteem, which it shouldn't. You are what you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But still, it will take me a while, because again, you're surrounded by this idea, especially like right in Pride Month, which you celebrate all of this. And I have a lot of friends, and everyone experiences that in a different way. And it's kind of interesting because it feels like if everyone was talking about different topics on pizza, and you were just like, I don't like pizza. right? And everyone's like, how can you not like pizza at all? Like, it's okay if you don't like some types of pizza, but if you don't like pizza at all, now that's weird, right? Kind of a goofy analogy, but it, but it's just kind of how I understand it. But on a more serious note, it does make me feel bad about myself. Not so much the possibility of being asexual, but really not knowing if it's a thing about my self esteem, my depression, or truly like a sexual attraction thing. And I wish I could just know, but I've had a couple of not like actual experiences, but I've come close to it, and I just kind of panic. I panic. I just can't. Right. I feel not so much because I'm disgusted by the idea, but I feel like there's no way. Like, there's no way that this is happening. My brain just tells me something will go wrong. They'll hate you. Don't do it. And that's where I basically do a 180 and undo all of the progress that I have done before that. Like, I remember, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I remember I was kind of flirting with this girl, flirting quotation marks because I don't know how to flirt. I'm going to be honest. So my way of flirting, just kind of trying to be nice, right? That's just what I do, and just being very honest on it. Like, hey, I want to date you. That's basically what I do. There's no there's not much nuance. And eventually I asked her out on a date, and I was like, hey, let's go somewhere. Let's go. I said a place. I was like, let's go there. And she was like, sure, right? And it was very clearly a date. And it was great, right? And then I just backtracked completely. Like, I remember sitting in my room and just thinking, like this isn't happening. Like, she'll hate me. This is a bad idea. This is kind of depressing to say, but my brain was just like, you're not human. You don't deserve you know to go on this date, because you're not going to be an enjoyable person, because you're less of a person, right? So don't go there. You'll regret it. You'll make her feel bad. You'll feel bad because of that. So don't do it. So it's very hard to feel anything for anyone when you have that shit going on in the back of your mind. So I don't know if I took that voice away, I don't know if I could actually, you know, get closer to people. I've only lived with this panicky voice in my head telling me that I shouldn't do it because I'm less of a human and it's going to turn out horribly wrong in some way or the other. So I wish I could just kind of experience what it is without that. Because I have a friend of mine that is right now considering the possibility of him being asexual, and I know him, and he gave himself space to know how he loves other people, right? He did have like a girlfriend. Just in case, I'm not saying that you should go into a relationship or something like that to prove that you're asexual, but everyone can kind of test it in their own way, and he did in his own way, right? And eventually he started considering the fact that he's not really interested in the idea of sex. He actually doesn't like it at all, right? But he gave himself that space. With me, I just have such a strong emotional barrier that I have never given myself like the space to feel anything for anyone. And in general, it's very hard for me to feel stuff. That, again, that is something that we'll talk about, the emotional numbness, which is probably the biggest topic that I will talk about in this weird little project. So that's what's on my mind right now. I think I covered basically all I wanted to say. So to summarize it, it's hard to know if my experience, or well, lack of experience regarding romance and sexual attraction, has to do with my low self-esteem, my anxiety and depression influencing how I treat people and how I connect to people, which actually could probably be related to my self-esteem, or if it's truly asexuality. It's extremely hard to know, and I will even dare say impossible as of right now. But thankfully, I am taking pills, and I started treatment like a week ago. Well, less than a week ago. And, they haven't really done anything because they take a while. I kind of wanted to start this channel to track how I started doing, because I knew that if I start getting better, I will probably notice in the videos I upload. So this will be like a live test of the effect of antidepressants. Or if shit goes horribly wrong, well, we'll also get to see that. So, have a nice day. I will surely try to have a nice day, but I have an exam tomorrow, so I don't know how well that will go.